Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz. I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck. Sunday of Week 9 is done. DK.
Yo.
The Seattle Seahawks were, disemboweled by the Baltimore Ravens today.
Yeah.
Disemboweled is really, really descriptive. I can really visualize that.
37-3. I mean,
Jeez.
DK, did you shield your son's eyes from the game?
I did. Yeah. I didn't want him to see that. Man, remember how we were like, you asked me if it was offensive that they had a 6 point, they had, what was line 6 or something like that? You were
6.
like, is that
it turned out that lost by 31.
Yeah. No, the Seahawks were absolutely just useless in this game. I mean, it was weird because everything that had been good about them coming into this game, like their defense had been really strong. They'd been stopping the run. You know, the pass rush was really heating up. Their offense had been top 10 in the NFL in a lot of categories. And then all of a sudden they just could do nothing. So the Ravens are really good.
Well, so on that now, I was wondering, so DK, we every week we do power rankings for the Ringer. We have the Ringer NFL staff writers all submit theirs, and you can look at them at nflrankings.theringer.com. And I think this week was a real shift where I don't know who I'm going to put at number 1 this week, but I think I'm going to put the Ravens. Like, I think the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. Do you guys disagree? Like, I was just watching this game, and I'm like, what? Just for starters, DK, not to. Well, actually, not. I'm not going to pretend. I'm going to just pick it.
Go for it. Go for it.
The last 3 weeks, the Ravens played the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the Lions. The combined score entering the fourth quarter, I'm just clipping the fourth quarter because they were not competitive. Entering the fourth quarter, those 3 games, the score was Ravens 86, opponents 10.
Wow.
86-10 the last 3 weeks. Lamar, random stat I don't know what to do with, but he's 18-1 versus the NFC, which is ridiculous. But Ravens had 298 rushing yards today.
Yeah, it was
and
crazy.
And the Seahawks had 28.
I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying. The Seahawks were one of the best run defense teams in the NFL coming into this game. They were like, that was like one area where they were really getting strong, and then they just couldn't tackle anybody in this game.
Yeah, they got run all over. But I got to say, as much as I was impressed by the Ravens offense, I think I'm more impressed with the Ravens defense.
Yeah.
I totally agree. The defense, so they're allowing under 14 points per game, which is the best the Ravens have done since the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, which are probably the top 2 defense of my lifetime. And then Solak had this. The 2023 Baltimore Ravens are allowing a touchdown on 9% of their drives. And the last NFL team to do that was the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, which is crazy.
Wow.
And I apologize to whoever said this, but I don't remember. But I actually feel this way about the Ravens offense and their defense. Both the offense and defense are like a pitcher that has pitches that they can move. They have different speeds, and the pitches break, and different kinds of break and speed, but they all look the same coming out of their hand.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I will totally accept that there's still questions about whether the Ravens can like play, down 2 touchdowns or whatever, like with Lamar. But like, I don't know. The Ravens with this defense aren't going to be down 2 touchdowns at any point. So DK, are you going to be putting the Ravens number 1 in your power rankings? Because I'm going to do it.
I think it's really close. I think I'm going to stick with the team who had number 1 last week, and that's the Eagles. They beat a very good Cowboys team too this week. So that was a very impressive game from them as well, even though the Cowboys maybe could have won that game. But I look at the Eagles, and so I wrote down some of the reasons that I think that they're the number 1 team in the NFL. And it mainly comes down to just balance. Top to bottom, is there a more talented team in the NFL than the Eagles right now?
The Giants.
Right. I mean, that's close.
The Eagles don't have a single person named Tommy DeVito.
And I think the Eagles, a couple of things come to mind, and this is something that we've talked about going even back into the summer. It's like they have this mathematical advantage that no other team has, in the sense that they can not only do the read option and do the run game with Jalen Hurts, which is a massive advantage, but they steal an extra down so often with their ability to just dominate in the tush push. It's like almost automatic. And so they're like playing with an extra down. I think that advantage to me is just like, you cannot discount how massive that is. They have elite weapons on offense. AJ Brown is maybe the best number 1 receiver in the NFL. Devontae Smith, one of the best number 2s. They have a good offensive line. And to cap it all out, Jalen Hurts to me is like the calm in the storm quarterback, where he never panics. He never looks worried. He never, he's just like so even keeled all the time. And I don't know if you're getting that with Lamar Jackson, even though I think Lamar is playing really, really well. And, not to like parrot what Craig has been saying forever, but like, we haven't seen Lamar do this in the playoffs either. And so I think just barely have the Eagles with an edge, but it's very close.
I think it's hard when it's really close. You end up judging them by like history and what they've done. And I think the fact that the Eagles were just in the Super Bowl, they were the best team in the league last year. That's probably why they get the edge. And it's why I think the best team in the league right now, if I had to rank, is neither the Chiefs nor the Ravens. Neither the Eagles nor the Ravens. I think I'm picking the Chiefs because the Chiefs are essentially, they're basically 9-0 in my book. I mean, look, they lost week 1 to the Lions without Travis Kelce. They lost by 1. They only allowed 14 offensive points in that game. They had a pick 6. And then they lost to the Broncos when Mahomes had the flu. And other than that, this team is 7-0. They beat Miami today, 21-14. And look, they have the best quarterback in the league. And I think the defense for the Chiefs right now is the best defense that Mahomes has ever had. And while the offense looks okay and it looks very average right now, what the defense is doing is so impressive that I'm still taking them in any game because I get the best quarterback in the league and I get a top 3 defense in the league. They've held Tua to 14 points. They held Herbert to 17, Trevor Lawrence to 9, and like I said, the Lions to 14. This defense is humming. They're 3rd in the league in allowed yards per play. So even though the receiving situation is weird, it's not weirder than last year. And so I would still pick the Chiefs.
Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, like he was the Giants defensive coordinator when they won 2007, and he's just very deep in Giants fans' hearts. And I talked about it on Friday where I think he did a great job getting it to it. And like, I feel like the Chiefs, they got pressure up the middle and they got unblocked pressure onto it and they really hassled him. I think what's weird about the AFC is we spent all offseason talking about how the quarterback imbalance and all the quarterbacks in the AFC are better. And really what we've been talking about in season, I know Rodgers got hurt, is all the AFC quarterbacks, and this is true, are kind of led by like the contenders are actually have great defenses with questions at quarterback. Like the Browns had this incredible defense and Deshaun Watson to do nothing because the Browns defense, just like the Cardinals had like 50 yards on 40 plays or something insane.
By the way, speaking of that, did you know that NFC West scored a combined 6 points today? The Seahawks had 3, the Rams had 3, and the Cardinals had 0.
That's so bad.
And then obviously the 49ers.
Clayton Tune and Brett Rippon couldn't get the job done, I guess.
It's like pathetic.
That's horrific. Obviously the Chiefs, the defense has been carrying them this season, but even the Dolphins in this game, the Dolphins offense was kind of dragged forward by their defense. Like the Dolphins defense actually played really well. Bradley Chubb probably had his best game as a Dolphin. And you just look around the Steelers, no offense, Craig, MVP candidate Kenny Pickett, kind of, being dragged around by the Steelers D. Like it's just the whole AFC, the Jets, obviously. But my only issue with the Chiefs as a Super Bowl contender is they don't do anything. There's so many little things they do poorly. I'm not even going to talk about Kadarius Toney, but like Mecole Hardman can't catch punts. Well, like that's just a weird thing.
Catching like inside the 5-yard line.
He's just like bad at it, and it's a weird thing for Super Bowl contender. And the other thing, Chiefs don't have a 3rd and 1 play, which is bizarre when DK's talking about how the Eagles are unstoppable on 4th and 1 and 2, and the Chiefs just can't do 3rd and 1, which is so weird.
And yet, if Mahomes didn't have the flu and Travis Kelce was healthy, they'd be 9-0.
Okay. But like
Mahomes is so good. It is true though, Craig. It's like we can pick nits about all these other variables that are happening. It's an argument for the Chiefs, I think Heifetz just made. He's like, they're really not playing that great. And I'm like, they're basically 9-0.
I get
that's
that.
What I was going to bring that up too, is like, it feels like they are building towards getting hot at the right time. You know what I mean? Like Rashee Rice is coming on really strong lately for them. And he looks like he could be a potential game changer for him as the year goes on. We're seeing this with some other rookies too this year. Is like, it takes them a while to figure out how to be a pro, but then by halfway through the season or so, this is why there's the post buy rookie bump. It's like you start to kind of like just play again instead of thinking all the time or whatever. And so maybe like Rashee Rice can be this big difference maker for him going forward, and they can like actually start to do some stuff on offense. But right now it's still very like, kind of ugly at times.
The Chiefs have that with Rashee Rice, where they have the luxury of like, they're just kind of like again, the Chiefs offense, to be clear, it's not playing well. Like shout out Shil Kapati, our colleague here, there's a stat called success rate, which basically just measures your yards, but like in context of the play. So 8 yards on 1st and 10 is good and successful, and 8 yards on 3rd and 10 is not successful. And then you get success rate. And if you look at the 103 games that Patrick Mahomes has played, the Chiefs' performance today ranked 101st out of 103 games for success rate for the Chiefs.
Boy.
So the offense is playing very poorly. Having said that, I agree with Craig where it's like a soup or like a I don't know. It's false. It's like a soup. It's getting itself together. Like the Chiefs have 3 months to get the offense together. Yeah, it's reducing. Yeah, you're trying to like when you taste the soup like 5 minutes after you put it on the. It's psychotic to think that that's going to taste like the way it's going to come out.
Like if the question is who is playing the best right now, I'm not picking the Chiefs. It probably is Baltimore. But if you're asking me who I think is the best team in the league and who I would bet on to win the Super Bowl, I'd still probably pick the Chiefs.